Right, so continuing from here, this has a few limbs up the middle that need thinned out. This limb right here needs pulled back. This limb right here needs pulled way back, and the canopy needs lifted up to at least 7 feet, maybe 9 feet. In fact, what I'd recommend is this entire lower limb. Just get rid of this entire lower limb, and that'll almost raise up the canopy perfectly, and it needs thinned out a little bit right here. That limb right there, you need to get it out from over the top of the building, that big thick one. So yeah, if we just took that big limb and we got up on the roof and we shimmied it down, and then that would pretty much take care of the building for the most part. There is one way up there that you'll have to get up above that window to hangers, and then get everything off of this roof, and maybe this lower branch, take out that lower branch right there and pull this whole branch back just to kind of get this back into shape. It's grown pretty wide. And then while you're here, look for dead limbs. You can see that tall limb in the back. Take that limb off and work your way down, and 2 to 3 feet of space all the way down so that it's not touching the roof. Maybe 15-20 minutes tree. Is that as far down as we have to go? Okay, so there's just this one tree on the corner right there. That, just make sure that one's doing good too. That's technically out of bounds, but it's got one limb that's growing back towards the roof, so trim that back over the area. In fact, it's not even in the fenced-in area. So yeah, I just take out this big branch right here just to make life easier on you, and we don't have to deal with it. Now we're going to go around to the front office, and we'll work our way back to the other side of the building. All right, so we are on the other side of the entrance, and we're going to start here, strip up, thin out, move on to the next one. Another 15-20 minutes. That tree right there, strip up, thin out, check for dead. 15-20. Actually, that one's a good, this one is actually a good half of an hour to get around the flagpole. This one right here, same thing, it's starting to lean. I'd almost, here's my question, Todd. Yeah. Would it be okay if I just took this fork? Because that one's going up and it's leaning heavy. It's always going to be a problem. If we took out this fork, then it wouldn't really affect the canopy that much. Then we'd only have like one limb on the other parts of the tree. Yeah. But it would straighten the whole tree out so that it wouldn't always be leaning towards the building.
I like that.
Okay, so we'll do that. So we're just going to take this fork and then trim everything back a good 3 feet from the building, and that'll take care of leaves and stuff in the gutters up there in a year. Okay, so this one, trim him back to, I don't know, a foot past the yellow line, so that trucks don't run around the corner and hit them. And make sure that one's not over. And the same with that one, pull everything back to the curb. And the same with this one, pull up that upper part of it, pull it back over the curb. We got a few cross limbs, so thin out the middle of it, and then this whole corner needs to be pulled back a good long ways. You can almost get all of that with a pole saw though, just to kind of trim it, kind of like that one is. This one's looking pretty good. It needs thinned a little bit. This limb that bends up and sits over the cross, they're just crossing each other. Thin out the middle, and we've got a couple of limbs up on top that are trying to touch the roof, so just trim those off. And then Yeah, this one looks good. That one looks good. So again, up top, just as you're going along, watch the roof and trim that stuff back and trim up. So we got a 7-foot walkway. These are assisted living, so these people have a lot of problems. This stuff down here, get rid of that. Same here, strip out this stuff, strip out this stuff. In fact, pull this whole section back. It's growing over. It's gonna over tension the side of the tree, so pull them back in. And you got a dead branch right up there, and this stuff's getting towards the buildings. And I think that's pretty much everything. Is there anything other specifically that you want?
We're gonna head back there.
All right, we'll walk down this back area right here.
And we'll have you guys screen if you want to look at the courtyard.
Okay. All right, so we came around from this area, walked down the arborvitae, and we're just gonna go along this entire row. I'd just jump up on the roof and walk down it with the pole saw and just nip everything back a good long ways. And nothing really needs to be trimmed out on these, it doesn't look like. So it'll be good and quick. Your biggest problem will be if there's company vehicles parked there, but I'm sure we can get them to move out of the way for half an hour. But yeah, just trim all of this back away from the gutters. Just take this lowest limb, just take the whole thing off. It's just going to be a problem. And then, ooh, it gets wet. And then right here, same thing, just continue walking around. I would trim this one down to the fork just to pull everything back and away and get everything bending out in the right direction.
Do you see the one dead tree?
That's dead. Okay, that one's easy. You just fall it in this direction, strip it out, pack it out. That one will take 45 minutes to pack out. Oh, that birch tree, be careful. It wants to die on you. And then scrape out the gutters while you're up there. Just grab a rake and just scrape it out for them. And yeah, and then just take that limb right there that's growing over the building, just take that one out and get it away from the roofs. And the same on that one, just the back side of it, just trim it forward with the pole saw and scrape out the gutters. All right, so that seems like it's it for me.